Today, we're going to be taking a close look at the SVS SB-2000 Pro subwoofer. So what that means, SB, sealed box, so this is acoustic suspension. That's that guy right over here. The 2000 Pro, 2000 is the model line, and the Pro is the new version. And in the Pro version, you get support for the new app. I guess it's not new anymore. It's pretty much applied to the entire product range now, but it's really cool. Now, there have been tons of reviews for this sub already. It's a solid performer. I think people have covered that a lot, and if you want to know about the app, go find one of the videos where people really dig into it. In this video, what we're going to do is measure this thing in my room, and we're going to see what it does at my main listening position, and that's pretty exciting. So sub's going to be there, main listening position's over here, laptop REW, and we're going to see kind of what it can do. Now, before we jump into the measurements, the main event, let me run over the specifications for this subwoofer, and let's take a look at the front and rear of it so you know exactly kind of what we're dealing with, so that when we look at the numbers, you'll have a little more context for this 12-inch subwoofer. The frequency response of the SB-2000 Pro is rated from 19 to 240 Hz at plus or minus 3 decibels. The built-in Class D amplifier has a RMS power rating of 550 watts with a maximum peak of 1500 watts. The driver features a 12-inch aluminum woofer cone with a cast aluminum basket. On the rear of the unit, you've got a USB port for an optional wireless adapter, RCA ins and outs, a 12-volt trigger, your power button, a power input, and then one thing you don't have are any analog controls. Everything is digital, so you have push buttons with some blue lights to show the different settings as you cycle through them. I wouldn't use the rear panel for anything unless I just had to, because the app is much better at control for the subwoofer. Inside of the app, you'll be able to manage your parametric EQ, your crossover, your phase, your volume, everything that you need to do to tune the sub, you can do inside of the app. Okay, let's get into the juiciness that is this SB-2000 Pro. So my first measurement, let's level set so you know what's going on. So you know, this is measured in the standard home theater fanatics location, center front of the room under the screen, and there are always 3 nulls that kick in this location. This one, and this one. So the first thing I will note about this subwoofer is that, man, it's flat. In my room, it is super duper flat, because without this null and this null and this null, you'll be plus or minus 5 decibels easy, just out of the box with no EQ, anything, at least in my room. And that's all the way down to 10 Hertz on a $900 sealed box subwoofer, which is not cheap, but you know, it's also not a $5,000 JTR or something like that. So that's pretty impressive. Now, you know, the first thing that everybody will jump to in the notes is like, oh, there's a lot of EQ in there. Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of EQ in there, but regardless of that, it's still really cool. And it sounds good too. It sounds like a sub is supposed to sound to me. Let's see what it can do. So that's the first measurement, measurement number 2, and this is up 3 decibels. Okay, it's all right. It's fine. Another 3 decibels. All right. Another 3 decibels. All right. Another 3 decibels. So, you know, some interesting stuff going on down here. You know, 22, 23, 21 Hertz and under. You know, that you get a lot of this. So maybe there's a little nully null going on there too, but it's not severe like the others. A little bit of something's going on. Or maybe DSP might be squishing this stuff down at the low end to keep things kind of under control. Another 3 decibels. All right, so maybe a little bit of compression kicking in, or maybe I think this is more likely some type of EQ built into this subwoofer that's kind of controlling stuff at the low end, so it doesn't let it scale. You can see over here, you know, this is what I would expect to see across the board for a subwoofer. Down here, obviously, you're not getting that. So I think this is all done by the subwoofer itself to protect this thing from subsonics. But it's not wiping them out. Don't get me wrong; it's still playing. I mean, you're getting almost 95 decibels at 10 hertz out of this thing, so it's not killing it. If it was killing it, it would, the curve would go down like that. All right, another 3 decibels. All right, still looking normal. Let's pull up another 3. All right, so this is a little bit different, right? So this is, I think, some real compression probably popping in right here. Not up once you get up into the 50s, it's breathing a little bit better, but I think it's feeling the pain a little bit there. And let's do another 3 decibels. Yeah, it's I think this is where things kind of going to top out for this subwoofer in my environment. And remember, this is about 9 feet away at the main listening position. So you've got a little bit of distance in there, so it's not like this is near field with some overinflated numbers. I mean, this is stuff that you could absolutely expect in any standardish kind of size room. Almost 95 decibels out of the sky at 10 hertz. That's pretty rocking. And what really looks to me to be super flat, right? Remember, this whole section here, null. This whole section, null. This whole section, null. So this thing is pretty rock solid. I some kudos to the engineer that set up the DSP on this guy to suck this performance out. This is, I think, a fairly well engineered piece of equipment that is performing. And from the subjective point of view, man, it's a little tiny box. It's a 12-inch sub. It's putting out some volume. So if you went to 4 of these things, you'd be up 6 decibels at 10 hertz. So yeah, you'd be like at 100 decibels at 10 hertz with 4 of these in your room, and they're super tiny. That's a lot of bass. And remember, this is just the 2000 series. I can't even imagine what the PB16 would do, especially in a ported enclosure that's putting out a ton of volume at port tuning. So anyway, so that's the measurements for the SB-2000 Pro. Pretty impressive, especially for a little guy, clocking in at about $900, not on sale. All right, so that's what we've got going on for the SVS SB-2000 Pro. This is one of my favorite small form factor sealed subwoofers at not a huge price point. It's $900, so it's not exactly inexpensive. I've seen other items out there on sale in the 15-inch range for $400, $500 that do quite well. But if you're an SVS fan and you like the app and the form factor meets your needs in your room, then this is really one that you ought to consider, especially considering the measurements that we saw before, which were really quite good for such a small subwoofer in such a small box. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, like and subscribe. I've got a lot more of these subwoofer measurement videos coming, and I know that you don't want to miss that because I don't want to miss that. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.